Good afternoon, Lydia Fink.
Hello.
Would you mind telling us what you're working on here?
I'm working on starting some spring crops for my mom and I to plant out in a few weeks or so, as she is going to be off of work for a couple weeks.
Now, why in the world would your mother be off work for a couple of weeks?
Because of the coronavirus going around and a lot of the precautions that are taking place.
Well, that's too bad. So what is your mom planning on doing while she's off for 2 weeks?
Helping me in the garden.
Oh, that's very nice.
Yes.
So what's being planted, Lydia?
Lettuce and kale, and I still have to do kohlrabi and some more broccoli, cabbage, Swiss chard, collards.
Now, just to be clear, this is food for humans, or are you going to feed it to your chickens?
Well, I want to feed some to my chickens.
Do you have any gardening tips that you'd like to offer to first-timers who might also be stuck in their homes, bored out of their gourd, looking for something profitable to do?
Don't start your tomatoes at the beginning of February unless you want trees growing in your windowsill.
Now, how would you know that, Lydia?
Experience.
Well, you're only, 14 years old?
Yes.
How could you have any experience in that? You're just a kid.
Because I did it this year.
Oh my goodness. Would you like to show all of your friends the possible mistake you've made?
How about you show them? Actually, no, don't show them. Just trust me.
Oh, come on, Lydia.
I'm busy.
Let's show all of your gardening efforts to date.
Oh, brother. My gardening efforts and all the clothes on my floor and the chicks in my room and the bright light and all that. And the dirt on my floor. Oh boy. Now, some of them aren't as bad as others. Like this one isn't that bad. But there's some really leggy ones. Although my petunias are doing nicely. It looks like I might have a bloom soon, actually.
Wow, that's fabulous. All right, now you believe you may have made a mistake here?
I did make a mistake.
What exactly is that mistake?
I planted them too early, and I put them in... It would be a good windowsill if I were starting them late, but for starting them early, where so much sun and heat is in this room, with the wood stove and the sun. I mean, like, I've got some nice peppers. Peppers, are, I think, a better thing to have started more early.
Well, now, I've got to tell you, Lydia, I've not noticed this before, because I really don't spend too much time in the living room since it's just been taken over by children. But standing here in this garden of yours, I can really smell the tomatoes. That smells really good. Smells really good.
There's a bit of purple basil.
Okay, now it would be really nice if these tomatoes could be outside growing in the garden right now, but it doesn't look too bad out there, but the wind's blowing.
You've got to build my greenhouse.
25 miles an hour, and it's about freezing right now at noon. So these poor tomatoes would not fare well. But, spring is coming. And what about the greenhouse? Tell everyone about that project that's waiting in the wings.
So hopefully just this weekend.
Yes, we've purchased a few materials. We have a lot of our own lumber here, but
from Menards.
We're going to build a simple, small greenhouse for Lydia to practice growing things. Hopefully her tomatoes can go out there in larger pots and live until the ground is thawed so we can stuff them in the dirt. Oh well, Lydia. Very good work. Very good work.
And
I
then
hope
there's
it
like
doesn't.
this like puny little pepper plants.
I hope it doesn't fail. Hate to lose all of this. All right, moving on to your next garden room.
Oh no, not that one. That one's a mess.
Okay, we have now ascended the stairs in this tiny little house of ours to what we like to call Lydia's bedroom.
There are chicks behind you.
Where Lydia,
Lives and takes over.
she's an extremely resourceful young girl. Show us what you've got growing up here, Lydia. Off to your left first.
Lovely.
That looks very nice.
There's some peppers and some dying tomatoes. And this is actually my best rosemary plant I've ever grown.
Now, what do you use rosemary for?
I think it's a good meat spice, I think. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Oh, it's an herb that
Yeah, it's
you
an herb.
put in.
And then this is purple basil.
And that's used for what?
Seasonings or...
Okay, so
herbal.
this is your herb garden.
Well, a couple of these. Some peppers, of course. And then these are some started flowers, these little thingies. And
What
then
kind of
these
flowers?
are Love in a Mist. They're kind of like a fanciful looking flower. And then these right here are strawberries.
Oh, strawberries.
Yeah.
How are you going to get those into the ground and keep them living?
I don't know. I might have to keep them in the greenhouse this year.
Oh,
Or at least
okay.
for the first part of it. And then here's some stevia, which is a sweetening herb.
Yeah, isn't that some sort of a sugar alternative?
And then this is celery, leggy celery.
Yeah. I thought they could only grow celery in California.
No,
Okay.
not that I know.
I'm just a farmer. What do I know?
We grew celery one year from seed starts.
All right, if I can pause the garden talk for a moment.
What?
How do you get out of bed without stepping on all of these plants?
Because I just put them there a little bit ago.
Oh, okay.
Because I was moving some of them out of the way so I could put some of the new stuff that I'm doing underneath the grow light. That's why we gotta get my greenhouse done, so I can move this stuff out, and then I can have the more tender stuff under
the rain would stop and the wind would stop blowing for a minute or two. All right, now we have grow lights
There's some
set up here.
onions over here. Some of them died, but I replanted a lot. So there's some onions. And then over here, this is kind of like a mix of a bunch of stuff. There's some broccoli and cauliflower and basil and some lettuce. And, ooh, this is actually some nice looking basil. I didn't notice that earlier. And then some tomatoes and yarrow and peppers.
Okay, some herbs here. Are these
yarrow.
mature enough that you could actually pick them off and use them now?
This one, yeah. I've already picked off basil.
Okay.
Here, you want some?
Yeah.
It's good.
Sure.
It's Genovese basil, so
Well,
it's
that
like
really
Italian.
smells. It's got a
It's good.
pungent odor.
It smells
But
good.
it's good.
My
Probably
favorite-
good for your room to counteract the other odors that are coming out of here.
What other odors? The chicks don't smell that bad yet. Hey.
Okay, keep going.
Okay. And yeah, so this is yarrow. Have you tried yarrow? Dad?
No, what is yarrow?
It's an herb. Try it.
Isn't that something like Peter, Paul, and Mary? Not bad.
And then over here, there's some basil growing and some thyme, I think. And then some more broccoli.
Now, is this Central
tomatoes.
Time or Eastern Time?
It's thyme and herb.
Pacific
It's
Time?
it's an herb.
An herb.
And then back here, some bee balm.
What is bee balm?
It's an herb.
And you use it for what? Same thing? Food?
I think bee balm is a good one for like making salves and stuff with.
And you have made salves already, haven't you?
I've made one, but that one was with a peppermint oil.
And it was for what? A healing salve?
Yeah, it's a healing salve.
Okay.
I've used it on some of my chickens' combs when they've gotten picked on and have bloody combs.
And does it seem to help?
I don't know. I mean, it might.
Are the chickens still alive?
Well, Blondie is not. Well, yes, one of them is. One of them's still alive. But some of the other ones, they were like, they just didn't. There might have been other things wrong with them besides just getting picked on. But then also getting picked on, like, because they weren't doing well. And then they were older ones, too.
Okay.
There weren't 2 yet, but... And now we have to look at the adorable baby chicks.
Why do you have chickens in your room, Lydia?
Because I like raising them in my room. Except the problem is, this lamp is super bright at night. So last night I slept on the couch. I tried to sleep upstairs, but I was having a really hard time falling asleep.
Oh, poor Lydia.
The pen could probably just clean again. I cleaned it this morning, but... And then this little girl, Myrtle, little Americana, she was, so last night I was in my bed and I was, I think, getting closer to being actually able to fall asleep. And then I heard somebody freaking out and I ended up coming over here eventually. And she had somehow like gotten herself stuck next to the feeder, if her, maybe part of her under the feeder or something. So thankfully I found her in time and she didn't strangle herself or anything.
Now this bulb that's keeping them warm, how much am I paying for that? How many watts is that?
125.
Oh.
It's not as bad as some.
No,
like
it's
some,
not.
Some heat lamps are 250, but I think that's just... I already am very scared of
It's
fires.
not a lot,
like,
but
happening.
it's enough. Alright,
They
this
shouldn't.
owl back here
Yeah.
is he guarding the chickens, or?
That owl's just been there for a long time.
And then you have your date planner above. Are there any significant dates on that calendar?
Hmm?
Who are those puppies?
I don't know.
Alright, and then you have a... I'm sorry. What were you going to say?
Hank bought that for me for Christmas.
Isn't that nice of Hank?
Yes. Andy bought me other stuff too. He got me quite a bit of stuff, actually.
Well, good for Hank.
And that's my chicken wall.
Wow. Alright, well, let's go up here first. You have a sign that says, money can't buy happiness, but it can buy
Oops, why did I write
chickens.
that? I never realized that I spelled that wrong.
Lydia, do you know how to spell?
I have never realized
Lydia,
I spelled
study
that wrong.
your books. But it can buy chickens, and chickens make me happy.
Hold on a minute, I gotta fix that. It's okay, babes. There.
Okay. Duly noted, Lydia does know how to spell. Okay, now you said your chicken wall over here.
My chicken flag, my chicken sign, my chicken painting.
Did you make that painting?
Well, it had the lines on it, and then I just painted it. The lines. And then I've got my chicken hanger, my chicken sign. And up there, there's a chicken, and then there's another chicken.
And then
Up on my
on your shelf you have dolls,
dusty dolls.
but you're not really into dolls.
No, not really, but most of those are collector's dolls.
Yeah. And another chicken.
There's another chicken next to it.
And then you have license plates up here.
Yes, dusty license plates.
From New Hampshire and New Jersey.
And then a train.
Explain how you got plates from New Hampshire and New Jersey.
My mom used to live in New Hampshire and New Jersey, so...
Oh, so they came on her cars.
Yeah, apparently.
Now I'm seeing another sign that I must see. What's this on your door?
Oh, that's not true.
It says, warning, highly trained chickens on duty, not responsible.
Did I spell that wrong?
Uh-oh.
Did I spell that wrong?
For injury or possible death.
Wait, how do you spell
You have been warned.
Did I not spell that right?
Lydia,
Wait, what?
you sound like such an angry person. Are you really angry?
Sometimes, yeah.
Okay. Well, maybe we should stop this video. Wow, I'm just looking out your window right now at the
I've got quite the view.
big satellite dish that brings our interweb into this house. Actually, it's not satellite. It's picking a signal off of that big blue silo way off in the background.
It is?
The wind is really shaking it around.
And this is my chicken that I got from an egg customer.
And who is that egg customer?
Brenda.
Oh, very nice, Lydia. Now, Lydia, correct me if I'm wrong, but you earn your meager living by selling eggs, is that right?
Yes.
And how many customers do you have?
I don't know. Quite a few.
Very good. And right now, also correct me if I'm wrong, but
I had some other people.
kind of because of the whole coronavirus scare, there's been a run on eggs, and you actually have customers waiting for eggs that you are really unable to supply them right now. Is that right?
I've got some chickens who don't lay every day. That's what you get when you don't go with all gold stars, but
Okay.
I mean gold stars can slack off too.
So now these baby chickens here behind us that keep you awake all night.
Yes,
you
there are
have
only
purchased-
15 gold stars or 10 of the other birds.
You have purchased them to increase your flock.
Yes, and to make me happy.
And your egg production to make you richer, hopefully.
Well,
Okay.
yeah, you would hope. I mean, I'm gonna try later this year probably to try to get rid of some of my older birds to go to home on Craigslist or something. So
Okay.
I might keep some of the Americanas or more heritage breeds, but we'll have to see.
All right. Well, thank you for the tour, Lydia. Before we go back downstairs and you make your dad some lunch, is there anything else you'd like to say?
Well, if you're interested in seeing how this whole chicken business, I guess, came about, you can go back and watch some of the older videos. There's actually a video of the first group of chickens I got that my grandpa had raised up, and then I got them as almost ready to lay pullets. So, yeah.
So that brings up a good point, Lydia. How did you become interested in chickens? Because, like I said, you're only 14.
I don't think I would.
And you're pretty crazy into chickens. Actually, you're extremely knowledgeable on chickens. How did that all come about?
It was kind of, yeah, I mean, I guess I liked animals. Now, that's kind of an interesting subject because I like animals, but yet they can annoy me a ton and make me very angry.
Sort of like brothers?
Yes, like brothers.
And parents?
Yes, like parents. So I think my grandpa lives in town and he's had chickens for...
Your grandpa who used to live
Fink.
on this farm.
Yeah, who used to live on this farm.
Your grandpa
and
who
have
is
a bunch
my
of
dad.
chickens. Yeah.
Yes.
So when he lived on this farm, he used to have hundreds of chickens and sell lots and lots of eggs.
Well, actually...
He used to have lots of leghorns.
Your grandma, my mother, who is now... passed away a number of years ago. She's the one who used to market the eggs because as a little boy, I remember riding along with her.
But I would think that Grandpa, though, I think knows more about, I don't know, because I haven't talked to Grandma like in my older years for I haven't talked to her, so.
Grandma's an unsung hero. She did a whole lot of work. I'm sure she knew quite a bit about chickens, too.
Yeah, probably.
All right, on with your story.
So my grandpa had chickens, so when I would go to his house sometimes, of course, I would go out and see the chickens sometimes, but I don't think it was really totally my idea for me to get chickens. I think it was my mom's idea. And it just kind of was here and there along for months or maybe even quite a while. And then we ended up getting some black stars that my grandpa had raised with a bunch of roosters that the hatchery sent out because it was cold. So we had a bunch of roosters and we had some hens along with them. And so we had the hens for quite a while and we butchered most of the roosters. Well, I didn't, but anyway. So anyway.
When did you get your first chickens, your very own first chickens?
2017.
And that's when they started laying. That's when you started the egg business?
Yes, when they started laying, when I was getting around 4 a day or so. Actually, okay, so the funny story. One morning, so my grandpa raised 20 pullets, 20 gold star pullets. he kept 8 in town, and then I got to take 12. So I bought 12 from him. And then I had them at the farm, and he had them in town. And then one morning, he comes out with his little egg basket, and he comes out and he brags about the couple eggs that he got from his pullets. And oh, okay. When I hadn't found any eggs, and of course his chickens, of course, were in a coop in town. They weren't out and about. But my chickens were out back free ranging, so even if they had laid, they didn't necessarily lay in their coop and all that. So later that day, I actually went outside and I found a nest of eggs and some grass. So then I got to come inside and call my grandpa up and brag some more to him.
So,
and then he and I have an ongoing, he doesn't have chickens anymore, but he and I have this ongoing battle about chicken breeds and stuff. He comes into my house and I tell him about my more heritage breeds of chickens, and he talks to me about how the gold stars, nothing lays like the gold stars or whatever.
But that is true.
Even though he himself tried different breeds of hens.
Yes, he did.
So
but so back to that day when Grandpa called you and had to brag about getting
he came out. He came out with his basket of a couple eggs
to you. After further investigation, it turned out that you actually won this contest,
well,
right?
possibly, unless they all laid them that morning, I guess.
All right. So how old is your grandpa?
I don't know, 80-something?
Yeah.
I'm
not sure either. Mid-80s. But, he still comes out to give Lydia trouble.
Well, I don't know about give Lydia trouble. He does buy eggs from me, now that he doesn't have his own hens, which is nice, but... I had to turn them down the other day, though, because I didn't have
because you're out of eggs.
to...
The whole world's crazy. No eggs, no toilet paper. But still plenty of milk and cheese for whatever reason.
Buy Prairie Farms milk and cheese, please.
Everybody go out and buy some milk and cheese.
And ice cream. Ice cream's good,
ice
too.
Cream, whatever. Yep.
Good dessert.
All right, speaking of that, Lydia's going to make me lunch, so we're going to have to go. I'm sure there'll be more someday. And we always like to say thank you for watching.
Yes, thank you for watching.
Okay, goodbye, everyone.
Bye, everybody.